How difficult was it for us to downsize? Emotionally, physically?
I probably had when we've always wanted to travel. That was our goal growing up, and we were married. Someday we're going to travel. When it came down to it, and we planned our retirement, we had it all our ducks in a row. Seemed like everything was working out, and then everything kind of fell apart. We had to make some choices if we still wanted to fulfill our dreams and make some choices. One of them was that we can't keep our condo and travel.
Because being of the generation we are, when we bought our condo, we put about 75% cash down on our condo. That's what our generation does. Our goal is to be debt free. So we put a bucket load of money down on our condo. We have a limited amount of investments, which you know what investments are doing the last few years, skyrocketing up and plummeting down. So you can't count on those investments right now. Maybe later on it'll settle down a little bit, but because most of our usable assets were tied up in our beautiful condo, we either had to continue working, both of us full time, or we had to sell the condo so we could access the money that was tied up in the condo. We made a very fast decision. I presented it to Kevin, and within about 3 days, which those of you who know him, that's lightning speed, within about 3 days, he was in complete agreement. At first, when I said, I had done the number crunching, if we sell the condo, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, and we don't have to go back to work. And we were tired. We were owning your own business for 40 some plus years, all the management of employees and jobs and dealing with all the other professions. It was exhausting to both of us. So neither one of us really wanted to go back to work. And 1 week after we had this conversation, we had made the decision to put our condo up for sale.
It sold very quickly. Um, Contents and things, yeah, it's hard to get rid of your contents. You work most of your life trying to accumulate things. But once you got started with it, especially downsizing to a 340 square foot footprint to live in, we did store a small amount of things at my brother's home, which we're always grateful for. We thought we'd be traveling in an RV anywhere from
5 to 15
yeah,
years.
we didn't know. So basically, we looked into renting, storage stuff. It was just too expensive. And so we decided, let's get rid of it.
But to keep this in perspective, we had one piece of furniture that we kept, and that was my parents' rocking chair that they bought in the 40s or 50s when they were down in the Appalachian Mountains someplace. And that rocking chair, when they had both passed away, no one else in the family had room for it or could take it, and I had loved it from the time I was a little girl. So that was the only piece of furniture stored in Kevin's brother's basement. The rest of it was like family photographs in wall frames. We had a set of lockers that we did not dispose of that came out of a country club. Kevin would keep his guns in there because it was locked. Winter clothes, hunting gear, stuff like that. So there was a bank of about 6 or 8 lockers that we kept. But everything else was boxes. Because we had sold the business, we had to keep all of those records for 7 years, all of the paper copies, even though they were all scanned and on a hard drive. We still needed all those paper copies. Maybe that's changed now, but back then, we're already talking 4 or 5 years ago. We're getting towards the end of needing all those copies. But I didn't keep my sewing machine. I gave that to a friend. I didn't keep 50% of my baking items. I probably didn't keep 80% of my serving items. We used to have very large functions. I had a lot of serving items. I gave everything to our daughters or daughter-in-laws that they wanted, and then I would have friends come and just take whatever they wanted. We did not have time to have some big estate sale or garage sale or anything like that. The biggest thing you had to give up
A wood shop.
is wonderfully designed wood shop with a lot of brand new saws and router tables and cabinets. What did you do with those?
A lot of it, well, I sold some of it, gave some away. Of course, in-laws or son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws and stuff, we give stuff to, first choices. Some of it we donated to Fort Wilderness. They have a wood shop up in northern Wisconsin, and we called them and we showed them pictures of what we had, and they said, here's the items we'd like to have, and they sent a crew down with a truck and picked it all up, and it was gone. And then we decided later to go up there and volunteer at Fort, and it was in the next room, all packed into the corner. So the first summer we were there, we were able to unpack all the stuff I had donated, set it all up, and we used it up there.
So that is really heartwarming to us that we are seeing his wood shop. I don't know, 60% of it went to Fort, maybe?
Possibly.
50 to 60% of his stuff from our basement is at Fort, and we get to use it. Like I said, this will be our third summer up there. So that was the hardest thing probably for you to give up, was your wood shop. We still have hopes to have another one someday, but it probably won't be this perfect. I mean, Kevin had his plans, ideas, and dreams for 35, 45 years came to place in our condo basement. So that was probably the biggest thing that he had to give up. But
there's a point where I have tears coming down my eyes now.
When I had my first conversation with him about, if we sell the condo, we don't have to go back to work. We can travel, we can buy an RV and a truck. And the first words out of his mouth were, I feel like we would be giving up a dream to sell this condo. And I looked at him and I said, but you would be giving up one dream to live another dream. Which dream is more important, if you have to choose? And there was no choice. We had our entire life, we had hoped to do this kind of traveling and exploring, and we hope to do it as long as we're physically capable. And we've even talked about the fact, if it reaches a point where either of us is uncomfortable in the pickup truck and fifth wheel, towing it, managing cities, stuff like that, we'll probably buy a little bit smaller unit, like some kind of a Class C or something, where we feel more comfortable because they're smaller. It's a little bit easier to drive than this would be as we continue to mature.
Spooky.
All right, so